3 minutes left of trade. We start with an intraday chart of the Dow. What a roller coaster ride it's been. Started higher, and in fact, the high of the day was almost 300 points higher, 286 at the high, which came a couple of hours into trade. Sold off pretty significantly throughout the session. The low of the day came pretty much at the start of closing bell about an hour ago. We've rallied a little bit from there, but not by much now as we approach the close. The low was 155 points. We're down 134 as we approach the close. Looking at all the indices, you can see that even if it was trade affected in sentiment, the domestic Russell 2000 smaller caps selling off, the tech names, of course, selling off as well. So the Nasdaq and the Russell down about 1.5% each, the Dow down 0.5%, S&P down 0.7. Sector performance for you, it's the energy sector that's the real outperformer. WTI having its second day in a row of 3% gains. That's propped up the energy sector, but elsewhere, kind of losses are fairly broad. A couple of them holding on to small gains like utilities, but you've got the likes of technology, consumer discretionary, financials, all down more than 1%. I'm going to bring in Bob Pisani now as we've got about a minute and a half left. And we're also going to have a quick look at the dollar as Bob joins me, because the dollar enjoying another strong day, second in a row. Quite significant gains today. 5%
up for the quarter. We've been talking about that and the impact. You're going to hear a lot from companies complaining about the strong dollar impacting their earnings. So look, today there's a couple things going on. Obviously, the message of the markets is the CFIUS was a good development early on, but it's not sufficient, and the whole tariff issue still floats out there, number one. Number two, if you look at the big movers that are down today, semiconductors, biotech, consumer discretionary, these all had a great quarter until a few days ago. And what I'm saying, yes, often there is end of the quarter machinations when you get really strong moves in groups like semiconductors. You have companies like pension funds out there that have to rebalance. Unfortunately, they don't publish any numbers to us, so it's a little bit of reading the tea leaves here. And I think there's a little bit of that going on here. It's unusual to see consumer discretionary so weak all of a sudden. Biotech's been down for several days in a row here, not necessarily impacted by trade concerns. The Russell's another good example. It's been a fantastic quarter for the Russell overall. And the last several days, we've seen also that underperforming today on a day when trade concerns moved the market up and down at the same time. The Russell's essentially been straight down throughout most of the day. So I would avoid making a lot of grand pronouncements about where the stock market's going until the quarter is over right now. I want to just emphasize that point.
And another sign of that, Bob, is that within the Russell, those regional banks that had outperformed the bigger banks for so much of the start of the year have continued to sell off and join the party of selling off the last couple of weeks.
And remember,
all have been effective.
Exactly. The spread between the 2 and the 10-year Treasury yield, 30 basis points, 2 more rate hikes, that yield will invert. The yield curve will invert, and that's got the banks all worried.
Well, we're right at the lows as we have to hear the bell.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.